Hello Herbie, hello YouTube. It's been a while. Um, this is a continuing part of my discussion with Herbie. His channel I'll link here somewhere and also down below. He's done really well, achieved his goal much faster than he thought he would. Currently a heavyweight champion. Well done Herbie. I mean bloody well done, that's an achievement. And he's got a very worthy next goal. So best of luck, everyone. He's going to raise funds for some very worthy charities supporting the end of slavery, which, as it's something I touched on in my earlier video, Morals and Miracles, which I'll link again over here. That's a really worthy goal. It's something I support. So yeah, that's champion. I won't bore you with what I've been up to. I might get around to doing a video and catching up with some other stuff on YouTube. I have got some projects which might make some fun videos. But continuing our discussion and referencing the video I linked earlier, 3A, this is 3B, Death and Wonder. So I'm just going to start off with, posit this as a thought experiment. As I described in the earlier video, the problems I have with a God and with a God who could do miracles in the world that exists today, I thought we would posit that there was no such God. That's what I think is true, and just run with me on this. I don't think you'll have an issue just doing it as a thought experiment. How do we deal with death in that sort of world? What is death in that sort of world? As I think your friends rightly put it, when you die, you just become worm food. But it's more than that. You don't become worm food, your body becomes worm food. What is you is gone. There's a metaphor, a friend of mine, I'll link to his channel below, he started me on this, but when it goes out, where did the flame go? This is a different flame, it's not the same flame. Is a flame a thing? It's not the gas, it's not the air, it's them combining, it's the reaction. And when that goes, the fire's dead. And when the reaction that is you, when your brain stops, you're not there anymore. You're simply gone. This is very troubling for some people, and it used to be very troubling for me. But going on to introducing death to children, the way I first came across death, sort of, it's not only Christians who can grab a book, and as you saw in the earlier video, I grabbed a couple of books and waved them around. This time I'm doing it with a book I really love. This is The Hobbit. This is the same edition and version as the one my father read for me when I was a boy. It was the first real book I ever read. And these are the final words of Thorin Oakenshield. Sorry, these are not the final words of Thorin Oakenshield. These are some of his final words. I go now to the halls of waiting, to sit beside my fathers until the world is renewed. Tolkien set his world in one of Catholic theology. If you read his expanded works, he's in the Silmarillion, it really becomes plain that it's a one world created by one God that eventually becomes our world. It's really interesting if you like that sort of thing, but as my dad remarked, reading the Silmarillion is like reading the Old Testament. So that was my introduction really to understanding what death was properly about. Someone goes to the hall of waiting to wait for the world to be renewed. And as an atheist, I still think it's a reasonably good introduction to death. It doesn't say anything about what you do there, and waiting for the world to be renewed is sufficiently vague to not trouble. Well, it never troubled my mind. I don't know about all children, but it might help. If you don't want to address the fact that you're not going to be there anymore, death is essentially the great sleep, the long rest. So, viewing it from an atheist perspective, when I die, I go into the bosom of the earth, the halls of waiting, and I wait for my atoms to be renewed. Because they'll go everywhere. Like, all the bits of me were somewhere else before. And they're constantly getting changed. Every time I breathe, new bits become part of me, and bits of me go off into the atmosphere. And that is comforting, in a way, to be a part of the great chain of chemistry of life that exists. So this is the wonder part of death and wonder. If we're just chemicals, just a reaction in a world that runs on physical laws, that is just not magic, is there any wonder and magic in life? I think there's nothing supernatural, but there's so much wonder. There's so much good stuff out there. And just because we're chemicals, it doesn't make it less good. It makes it more so. We're so odd and unlikely from a chemical perspective, but every step is plausible chemistry that works. We're a runaway reaction, and we should keep running. I can't really verbalize it right now. It's odd. I'm trying to think of the right word, but it slips my mind. So let's get back to how it deals with death. A bit more somber than my jolly ramblings about wonder. When people die, you never see them again. It's really sad. Losing people who are close to you, who are influential on you, feels like a permanent loss of part of yourself. But you also have them with you always, because when you lost a part of yourself, you kept a part of them. Your memories, the things you learnt how to do, how to make, the way you speak, the way you look in many cases if they're family, these remain part of you, and you'll still have them, and the memory. Is this a consolation? Not to the dead person, but as Robert Ingersoll said, the dead have gone to a land beyond all cares. It's the people who are after who need consolation to deal with death. And I think the consolations you can find in philosophy are just as worthy and good and quotable as the consolations you'll find in religion. I won't keep rambling on. I hope this and my earlier video has raised some interesting points. I'd love to see where we take this discussion next. Congrats again on the title, and I hope to hear from you. Bye YouTube. Bye Herbie.